Hi, I'm Kyle McAuley with New Filmmakers Los Angeles and MovieMaker magazine. We're sitting here at the Camrich Los Angeles showroom in West Hollywood with Jeff Johnson and Jeff Hinman, the filmmakers for Bert Kreischer, I Am the Machine. Let's watch a clip.
Ladies and gentlemen, please a warm welcome. Let him hear it, Mr. Bert Kreischer!
Rolling Stone voted him the #1 party animal in the country.
You guys ready to go old school?
Bert Kreischer is so funny.
The stories keep growing.
I think everybody would like to be Bert.
You're gonna talk about this on stage. Hey, f***ing right I am.
Bert is absolutely fearless. You gotta commit 100%, and he's in 120%.
I wanted to do a documentary that was representative of the road, which is real, like what my life's like.
This is what the road looks like for 22 days.
You want to be on TV? You want to buy crushed ice for your kids? You got to wake up and work your ass off.
I haven't felt that way in 10 years of doing comedy.
They just treated him like he was some feature actor.
Mother of God.
He destroyed that room.
I want to watch this carnival go on all night long.
So I thoroughly enjoyed your guys' film last night.
Thanks.
There were times when I found myself laughing and crying. The first question I have is, what was your inspiration behind it?
Jeff and I both had talked a lot about just wanting to make a film. Neither of us had made a film before at all, and so we were looking for a documentary subject. And that was what we found to be the hardest thing once we decided we were going to make one, is just what do you do it on? What's the thing that you can change the world with or whatever? And Jeff was friends with Bert. Their families were friends, and
yeah, it was just dinner conversation one night, and it sort of fell into our lap because it wasn't one of those change the world kind of documentaries, obviously, but it fell into our lap as Bert was talking over dinner saying that he wanted to make a film that his daughters could see someday, to see what he did away from home all this time. And he wanted specifically to make one at this point of his life because it was when he was really kind of getting really popular and famous, and he wanted to capture that time of his life as a stand-up. So that's what started it. And Jeff and I wanted to make a documentary, but we really wanted to be local about it because we were in post-production for a living. So it would be almost no cost for us to do something if it was local. But like I said, this fell into our lap, which wasn't going to be cheap because we had to go on the road with Bert in order to produce this. So we went to Kickstarter to raise money for it.
Okay.
And for me, it was, I've always been really interested in stand-up. And about the same time we were starting this, I was starting to get into stand-up myself. And so when Jeff brought Bert and we went and had lunch with him, I was kind of immediately drawn to the idea of seeing what his world was like. I thought this is a great way for me to get a look behind the scenes a little bit and see what that career is and what some of the aspects are with that. So it was pretty appealing to me right away when the opportunity came up.
Oh, okay. Very cool. So what are you guys most proud of about this film?
I think there's two things that I'm really proud of with the film. One is that I feel like we made a film that is a documentary that has stand-up in it and isn't necessarily just a stand-up concert film or a special. And that was one of the things I think was a concern to us. But I'm also really proud of the fact that I think we made the film that we really kind of intended to make right from day one. All three of us, Jeff, Bert, and I, were all very much on the same page as far as where we thought the film would go, and that ultimately it would end with this story, the machine story. That was going to be the culmination of the film. From day one, we talked about the way that we would end it that way, and every single time he did a show, we would get together, the three of us, and talk about how that particular performance went. What was good about that telling of the machine story, and what could be better. And we kept bandying that about, and then when we got to the end, we shot in Portland, which ends up being our ending of our film, and we didn't plan on going there.
Okay.
And we show up, and there was somebody from that experience in Russia with him that happened to show up at the club. And I think when people see the end of the film, they're going to accuse us of probably setting that up, but we're not smart enough to have done that, honestly. But it became very obvious, that was how we were going to end the film at that point.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, for me, it's the thing I think we're proudest of is the challenge was on the outset is to create something that was filmic and not like a reality show, because it sort of could go that way because you're following somebody's life. So our challenge, I think, was to create something that was much more filmic and felt like a documentary, even though it was just really somebody's life. So and I think we kept it very authentic too. We didn't really force anything. We made it real, authentic, and hopefully documentary-ish.
Yeah. No, you guys absolutely did. I really didn't see, I don't think there was one instance where I felt like anything was faked or choreographed or anything like that.
Yeah, well, it's good because there wasn't, so it's good that came
Yeah.
across. That, we're worried about that. We didn't do any like second takes or that sort of thing. Oh, that was good. Can you say that again, but like right at camera?
Yeah.
And so that worked.
Yeah. So you've known Bert for 10 years, right?
Yeah. Our families have been friends for about 10 years.
Okay. And how did that relationship come to be?
I think Bert, an ex-roommate or a friend of Bert's was my wife's ex-roommate, and they kind of knew each other. And then Bert's wife and my wife became very good friends. And after that, we were just friends, family friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys, do you feel like you're pretty close with him?
Yeah.
Cool.
Our kids play together, and yeah.
Oh, very cool.
And after spending a lot of time on the road, the interesting thing about making the film with him was when you got started, I didn't know Bert quite as well, and you're right there in his face all the time with cameras, and you're trying to follow him back to his hotel room to get his thoughts after, maybe a long night, and you can see at the beginning like there's a sort of cautiousness that is there to begin with, and the irony to me is that by the time we got done filming is when we had really started to establish this strong rapport, that if you started right there and filmed for the next 8 months, it would have been an entirely different film, but I think it all worked. It worked really well. So
Yeah. So what kind of challenges did you guys run into along the way?
Well, everything was new to us. I mean, this is our first thing we've ever done. So just learning equipment to just knowing where to be, what to shoot, how much to shoot. We really pretty much never stopped shooting because we didn't know how much it was good enough. So I think we ended up with like 130, 140 hours of footage. So we just, the biggest challenge was like how to make a film, especially something like this, which is it really is just capturing random footage and hoping something comes of it. There was never an outset of like, this is our story.
Right.
So that was the biggest challenge for sure.
Yeah, and they, I still, when I watched the film, watching it again last night, and you see our learning curve on screen. It was learning the equipment was our first challenge,
right?
And then getting better at the equipment, and how do we get shots that aren't as shaky, or how do I not adjust the camera while I'm getting a shot, and not missing things, and trying not to miss great moments when they happen, because you didn't get a chance to do like, okay, that was really good. My camera wasn't ready. Can we do it again? That just isn't how it worked. You had to just keep up with Bert, and if you missed it, you missed it. So you wanted to make sure you captured everything.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a big challenge. And then the biggest challenge in the end was figuring out, and a lot of this fell to Jeff as the editor, was figuring out what's our story and how do we make a cohesive point A to point Z, through line for this, and make it so that it doesn't just feel like a lot of random events. And that was a big challenge with the amount of footage that we had to comb through, which are his best jokes and which are the storylines that work and make a film.
Right.
Yeah.
And were you guys editing along the way?
You know what? Not really. I mean, the 7 or 8 months of production was really spent just converting the footage and sorting it out, just making sense of it, getting it organized. That was a lot of time too. Like I said, we're both in post-production. I'm an editor during the day, so I have to edit for 8, 9, 10 hours a day and come home and do it some more. So I dedicated a couple hours a night, 3 or 4 nights a week, but it was really just organization during shooting, and then the editing started after that. We were done with the shooting. Yeah.
What are your next steps moving forward?
We're right now, we have an offer from a distribution company, and we're negotiating with them, along with Bert's representation, his lawyer and manager involved in that as well. And we've been negotiating with them for a little while, so we might be close to that. We also are really anxious to get the film out to our Kickstarter backers, to be able to let them see what it is that they helped us put up there. Our next step is really, we're ready for people to just see the film. We've been kind of ready for about a year to have people see the film, honestly.
Yeah.
But there's a few roadblocks that get in your way that you don't really anticipate as far as the business side of things go. So the next step is just, we're excited for people to have access to it, and any way we can figure out to do that, whether on demand or Netflix or DVD, whatever it takes. We're just ready for people to see and be able to respond to the film now and see what they think.
Cool. Will you guys work together? Well, no, you guys have your own production company, right?
Jeff does. We used to work together at the same place. Now I'm still at that place. Jeff started his own company.
Okay, both post-production.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So will you guys think you'll make another film together at some point?
I think so.
I think so. We definitely want to. I think that's the thing about the first one. You see all the things you could have maybe done differently. I think we're both kind of excited in a way to, whether the next thing would be a short or a feature or whatever. I think we're excited to take what we've learned, and now let's do it again and see if we can do it even better. And we still also would like to make that Change the World documentary. That thing that for generations people are like, I didn't know that horrible atrocity existed or whatever that is. But in the end, we just want to make films that we're really kind of proud of the effort we put in. And that's where we're at with this film. And it may not, I don't know if it'll change the world, but I do think laughter is good medicine, and I think that
I agree.
That pointing a camera at someone like Bert had a considerable value. So
Okay, well, wonderful. We're gonna wrap up now, but I just want to say thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us. It was a real great experience.
I really enjoyed your film.
Thanks. It was a great festival. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.